king b4. Oh, we're going around now. We're trying to get this pawn here. King b4, king e6, king a5, king d6, king b5, protecting the bishop, king e6, and now we can play king a6, getting the opposition this way. King e7, king b7, so now we're actually in this pawn now. King d6, bishop g2, basically, wasting the move. If he moves his king away, we take the pawn. King d7, bishop f3, and so basically the ability for the bishop to basically lose a move or to force black to play a move is basically Zugzwang. And so after this, after king d6, bishop c6, and now black can't go and protect this pawn. So after king c5, king takes, the knight has to move. If the knight doesn't move, then if the king moves, then we win the knight, and that's basically trying to win. So starting back all the way over, it's just a lot of basically the idea was just coming around after bishop c6, trying to come around while still maintaining oppositions. Well, key moves here. Opposition. I'm gaining opposition right here. King f7 here, down, up, here. And he's getting opposition. And after king b5, king e6, he's trying to basically get some tempos off. We play king a5, instead of king e6, rushing the opposition, because then we might actually lose the tempo here. Let's see, after this, he takes, he's threatening our bishop, and so we have to go back. So that's why king a5 first. So let's go back. So after king a5, king here, king b5, king back, and now we move to protect, and then we just waste a couple moves, or losing the tempo with the bishop, and then we protect it like that. And yeah, that's basically Endgame. After king c5 takes, and we win. So, alright. So that's two bishops. Two bishops are better than, or no, that's when the bishops are better than knights. So these are just a couple examples of that. So let's see here. Let's see. I'm trying to find a good position. Okay. So you guys all know this Fisher guy, right? So he apparently played a World FIDE candidate quarterfinal and stuff. So after this, we're going to actually set up one of his positions. It's the Fisher versus Tamanov, maybe? I'm pronouncing that wrong, but FIDE candidate quarterfinals, Vancouver, 1971. So this is just showing Fisher liked his bishops more than his knights. That's for sure, because almost every of his positions I've always seen, he always had the bishop, and he was very stubborn, and he was just go and push for his win, because he considered like bishop almost like 4 points almost. So he definitely always tried to get the bishop. So in this position, white to move. Basically, this is his quarter. He was basically trying to qualify to become like the candidate for the World Championship match. Let's see. So Bobby had a crushing lead over Grandmaster Mark Tamanov, having won his first 3 games. Here in the 4th game, he had an advantage with his beloved bishop. There's several reasons why this position favors white. Basically, the pawns are on both sides of the board, and bishops are superior to black's knight if pawns are on both sides of the board. The black's king side structure of all the pawns are also on white squares. If these were on dark squares, that would have been a little bit better. So, we're looking like maybe bishop b7 and then just munching all, or bishop e8 and then munching all these pawns. Let's see. Also, I mean, what could black do? Knight b4, knight d4, knight e5. There's not really a lot. Trying to figure out how he can even hop his knight in here. That's the question. Like, how is he going to hop and destroy these pawns with his knight? Knight here, knight there, maybe? How did you get to e4? How did you get to e4? Knight here, knight there, and then... Nope, doesn't even get to e4. Knight f6. Here. So how does black even get counterplayed? That's the question. So basically here, Fischer played king d3. So basically trying to go in with this king on this side. So same thing like the previous position where the king was swinging around to king a6 to b7. We're trying to move the king to b5 to get into the position. So after king d3, knight e7, bishop e8. So now this knight's kind of stuck, and can't really do anything threats over here. And we're also threatening to just pawn here. Bishop e8, king d5, preventing anything. Our king from coming to c4. Bishop f7 check to relieve that square. So now we have bishop king c4, king c6 again, bishop e8 check, so king b7 and king b5. So now we got this square, nice paralyzed, and because if the knight moves, then we just punch all these pawns, and we'll be up like at least 2 pawns. And if the king moves away, then we definitely have some trying, for example, king c7 then king a6 or something like that. But obviously he didn't play that. After king b5, knight c8, basically trying to checkmate him. If this takes, then that's checkmate, I think, right? Knight g6, that's checkmate. So basically, Fischer played bishop c6 check. After bishop c6 check, king c7, bishop d5. And so we again centralize the position. So after knight e7, bishop f7, and then king b7. So it looks like we repeated the position almost, a couple moves back. But now we have basically bishop b3, and now he doesn't have this bishop c8. If the knight moves back somewhere, then we have the bishop to d4 check. But we also try to come up with even bishop f7 later. So I mean, it is really hard to see. I mean, I don't even understand most of them, but it's basically trying to find Zugzwang. Basically forcing your opponents to play a bad move, essentially. So after bishop b3, king a7, bishop d1, king b7, bishop f3 check, king c7, all right, and then king a6. We have finally broken through. All right. So now knight g8, trying to maybe come here to f6 or something. Bishop d5, threatening this. Knight e7, bishop c4, knight c6. I mean, there's not really any squares he can go into. And so after bishop c6, bishop f7, knight e7, bishop e8. So basically, we're trying to force this king to basically move. This knight can't move because then he loses protection of this. So Bobby Fischer is trying to get rid of these backwards pawn just by these bishop and king maneuvers, which is basically trying to create Zugzwang over and over and over again. So after bishop e8, king d8, and then bishop takes g6. So this is a sacrifice apparently because now Bobby gets 3 passed pawns apparently. And so after the knight takes, and then king takes b6, king d7. Basically now he has a lot of pawns. Apparently here after c4, king takes a5, knight h8, king b5, knight f7, king takes f4, knight d6, king d5, knight e4, king e5, knight takes g3, and then c4. White is winning. 3 pass pawns is not 3 points, it's 27 points. It's 3 queens, 3 connected pass pawns versus a knight. It's definitely winning for white here. And so, Black didn't go that line, of course. So he went, let's see here. After king takes b6, king d7, king takes c5, knight e7, b4, a takes b4, c takes b4, knight c8, so this knight is on this side, a5, knight d6, alright, or maybe, threatening this check and winning something here, b5, knight e4 check, king b6, king c8, king c6, you have 2 connected pass pawns, king d8, b6. So now we're just showing basically here. Now it's just basically winning. If this, and then b7 check, and then queen. And there's nothing black can do to stop that. So here the bishop is better than the knight. Okay, so we had 3 positions where bishops are better. And so let's give where knight is better here. Knight is better. So this is another match with Kasparov and Karpov. Karpov versus Kasparov, FIDE Championship in Moscow, 1985. Or 1984, 1985. The match usually took longer because it was like a best of out, like first to like 12 wins or something. So, anyways, let's set up that position here. Alrighty. So in this position, it's white to move, and white decides instead of taking this pawn and fixating everything, because now let's see here. Bishop is on light squares, or the bishop is a light square, and all of black's pawns are on light squares. So that's a bad thing. Because essentially, if black's pawns are on light squares, then white's pawns are all on dark squares. Let me fix this position. Yeah, the king's actually protecting that pawn on d5, and so and so g takes f5. Basically trying to open up the position a little bit. Fails because now everything's closed off. So I mean, look at this knight. This knight is protecting this f4, and there's nothing for the king to go through. So basically, Karpov decides to play knight g2, trying to take this pawn. And now, how many pawns does black have? 1, 2, 3, 4. And white, 1, 2, 3. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the idea was basically that white's king's going to be more active and will have probably a better chance of promoting. So he plays knight g2. If let's say if I don't know h3, knight